been led to position myself to be in a space where this partner can really recognize me and meet me physically. So this is somebody that I met prior, actually. We went to this event and this person showed up, and a friend of mine had a birthday situation going on, and another friend of mine had to come over and pull me aside and said, oh, let's go talk to this person because this person is kind of like a huge fan of this other person that we're supposed to go talk to, right? So I was just like, nah, like, because this person walked into the building at that, location. And I was just like, nah, like, I don't want to go talk to this person with you. What's going on? It was so weird because for me, it kind of felt like when this person walked in, like, it's not even a person that I kind of even thought about ever. Like, not really. Like, it's someone I would just see like randomly online or whatever, but it's not a person that I ever like thought about. It's someone that just disappeared for a while, and I was just like, okay, so I see this person this night, and he walks in with a group of his friends, and my friend's like, let's go talk to this person and have them come over or whatever to this friend's birthday thing. So I'm like, nah, like, I don't want to really do that because like it's weird. But she was like, no, let's go, like, she's gonna be so happy if we just get this person over. So I was like, okay, fine, but you're speaking to this person because I'm not gonna have anything to do with it, right? So we go over, and she starts talking to this person, and she just said something in his ears, and then he's like, yeah, sure, I'll come over. And he actually just came over, and my friend was so excited, and she was like, oh my goodness. And she took some pictures, and it was really like a nice time, and I was actually really happy that we're like able to do that for her on her birthday as well. But like, I just found myself like noticing that this person is actually I don't know, I just found myself getting kind of nervous, and that's not really like a thing that happens to me. I don't just like see people and get nervous. So I'm just like, what is this feeling? This is a weird feeling. Like, what is it? And I was just kind of like standing there like questioning this feeling, like like for me it was like I was getting nervous, and also I had this urge to speak to this person. Like, I just wanted to have this person like kind of just like, let's hang out and like, let me ask you questions. Like, I wanted to ask questions. Like, why would I want to ask questions, like for someone that I haven't even thought about in like years? Like, why would I want to ask questions? That's weird, right? But I just had this urge to like ask questions. So I'm like, okay, like, so I was just like, okay, I want to, like, I'm like overthinking things now, because sometimes that happens and you're like thinking about like, okay, so what if I ask this person a question? Like, how would it even happen? Like, how can I even start up a conversation with this person? It was so weird for me and kind of like so out of character for me to even process that emotion, because I'm not a kind of person that would just see a guy and get nervous. Like, the reverse is the case most of the time. Okay, most of the time. I like to think I'm pretty confident, or I try. I'm just kidding, but most of the time the reverse is the case, and I actually just, sometimes I just know what I want, I just go for it. And if you say no, fine, cool, no problem. You can't get a yes all the time, but if you say yes, even better. But most of the time I go for it. And if I feel a certain kind of way after someone has said no to me, which is quite rare, but if I feel a certain kind of way after that, I just process it and just move on, like it is what it is, But this time I just felt so nervous and so like weird. Like, I was just like, what is this feeling? I do not like it. I don't. It made me feel so vulnerable. So I was just like, I don't know how to deal with this feeling. But it was like, I was nervous, and then I was like trying to talk to this person, like in my head. I was like, what would I even say? Like, how would I even say it? Like, I don't know, you know? So, but I found myself looking out for this person and being like, where is this person? So I like left that area we were at, and then I went somewhere else. And then I looked back, I'm like, oh shoot, like this person's not here anymore. So I looked on the other side, and the person was still there. So the person had gone back to hang out with his friends, whatever. And the person was still there. So I was like, okay, cool. Like maybe at some point I'm gonna have the courage to like approach him and like talk to him or whatever, and it's gonna be good, right? So that's what I did. Not. So I just hung out with my friends a little bit more. And when it was time, I think I just kind of looked around again, and he was nowhere to be found, and neither were his friends. So I'm like, I find myself walking out the door to go see if I could find him. You know, I couldn't find him anywhere. Like, I didn't even know when he left, you know? So for me, I was just like, what? Like, why am I even doing this? This is weird, you know? So, but then I just went back in with my friends, and I was just like, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the time. And then I found myself like at the end of that night sending him a DM, just saying, oh, I met you today, and it was so nice to meet you for the first time. And even if it's someone I've known before, you know, but it was just so nice to meet you like in person for the first time. And yeah, like I just wanted to tell you that, you know. And I was quite confident doing that, because I'm just like, oh well, like it's, you know. And then slowly and surely I started to see this person more and more online. And this is not somebody that I would say I think about a lot, or I like, it's just someone I just know about, you know. But slowly I started to like see this person more online. I started to like be more aware of this person. Like just randomly his Instagram would come up on my page, or maybe he would be on live, or maybe something would happen and he's just there. And I just started to kind of see him everywhere. So I was just like, what is this? It's so weird. And then slowly I also like, the more I started getting closer to God, the more I started to kind of see dreams and see visions and stuff. And I started to really have that intimate relationship with God. So God was showing me more things. So God would like show me these dreams and visions. And in those dreams, he would show me like people, like men without faces I could recognize. Like they had faces, obviously they weren't like faceless, but a man with a face I couldn't recognize, but a physique that I could. So I'm just like, okay, like all right, you know, like it's always like one type of physique, you know. So I was just always like, okay, like cool, you know. I don't know who this person is, but cool, you know. So it wasn't until like after my dreams and visions and stuff, it wasn't until like August last year, 2020, where I don't know what happened, but I just started having this inclination that it was this person. And in my last videos, I've already talked about it, how I started to get into that knowledge of having, or it being this person, you know. So I started having that more. And then I told my sisters like, oh, I think I kind of know who this person is, but I'm not sure. And then I had them guess, and one of my sisters guessed the person straight away. And I was just like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Like, why would you even guess that? That's so random. Like, that's not even somebody that's in our lives, in our environment, in any part of our existence at all. It's not someone that you would just guess like randomly out of the blue. And then it was a whole process. I had to like try to get her to tell me where she kind of got that inclination from and all of that. And then slowly she had a dream that was very specific and very particular, and God was like, go, like even in that dream, God was like, go look up this, what this means, and go Google it and look up what that symbolizes and stuff like that. And so I started to get more and more into it. And then I started to talk a little bit more about it with my family members and a couple trusted friends. And I just started to kind of allow myself to enter the process and just trust God through the process. And God started revealing it more and more to me. So the moment I actually found out exactly who that man that kept showing up in my dreams that I didn't even recognize was, and I finally realized who he actually was, like in real life, I started seeing his face in the dreams and in the visions. And I was just like, oh, this is this person. And for me, it was just like a huge realization that, oh wow, like I actually started to allow myself believe that this could actually be the person. And so the more I started to allow myself, the more I started to fully understand kind of like why God wanted me and this person to get together as purpose partners. And so it's quite an interesting story because it's different. It's not something that I've again ever dealt with or been through in my life. It's very new. It's a very, very new experience. I don't expect people to understand it. It's not an experience I would just explain to just anybody, because like, number one, I'm very particular about who I tell, because I'm very particular about the mental space that I'm in at that time, and I don't want anyone to dissuade me from what God is already showing me. And my process is not for everybody to understand, even if it's my family members or my closest friends. If I tell you that there's something going on in my life that I feel like it's weird, but I'm just leaning into it, and you start like trying to put doubts in my head and stuff like that, I'm just like, I'm not gonna talk about this no more, because I don't think you'll get it, and I don't also want to have those doubts. So in my mind, I'm just like, okay, like I can't tell everybody, because it's just actually not for everybody, no matter how close we are. So for me, that's where it was at, right? So I was very particular about the people I told. I didn't even tell my parents, because I don't even want their noise in my head as well. I had to protect that. I had to protect what God was showing me, because if he wanted to show everybody else, he would, and he has chosen to show me, and so I have to protect that. So I'm just gonna make a point there, is that if God is choosing to show you secrets about yourself or about other people, you are not obligated to tell other people about it. Especially test every spirit to know, you know, the kind of like person that you're, you know, revealing these secrets to. Not everybody needs to know, not everybody needs to hear about it. And, you know, like, it's very, very important to know this, because sometimes we tell the wrong people and it could backfire on us. But what we just also need to understand is that like God's plan is God's plan. There's nothing that can stop it. There's nothing that could delay it. God's plan is God's plan. And sometimes the spirit of darkness tries to delay it, but God's plan is still God's plan. Just like in the you know, in the Bible, where, you know, was it Daniel that prayed, and you know, his blessings was being delayed, and then, you know, the Prince of Persia, God had to intervene in that moment. So we have to be really, really careful about the people that we talk to about what we're being shown, even if it's our family members as well. Sometimes it doesn't mean they're bad people. It's just that maybe they're just not there yet, you know, maybe that's not where they're at. And so where they're at could actually negatively affect you and your headspace. And I don't want anybody to put any doubt in my mind about what I'm being shown, because God showed me what he showed me. I know what I saw. I know when God speaks to me. I know what, you know, how he deals with me. I know it's not a physical thing, it's a very spiritual thing. But I understand God in that way. I understand my relationship with God in that way, and it's not for anybody else to understand it. And it's really, really okay. It's really, really okay. They don't have to get it. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to get anybody's validation. They don't have to get it. It's really okay, I promise you. And that's why it's such a lonely like experience, because it's one of those things where you just have to like go through most of it alone until you meet somebody that can fully like grasp kind of like what you're trying to say and what, how you're trying to go about it. It's really, really difficult to trust anybody with that kind of information, just to protect your own headspace as well, honestly. So that's where it was at for me. So being led to Nigeria was a very important part of my process again, because just like Ruth, I love her story. By the way, I can resonate with her on like so many levels, and I even made like a few posts about Ruth in the years before. But it's something that, we really just are not really taught so much about in church and in all these things. Like you can't just sit in your home and expect that this person will just come from nowhere, and you don't have to do any work. Like you kind of have to do work. You have to do a lot of work, and you have to just be led by the Spirit, especially if that's the type of marriage that you're looking for in your life. You actually have to do the work. So for me, I was being led into positioning myself into a situation that I was so like confused about, that was so unfamiliar to me. I did not know how to handle it. And also it was also a time where more men were coming into my life and trying to get involved with me and blah, blah, blah. People from the past, present, and future, just coming in. I had married men try to come into my life, and I'm just like, nah, like, I'm not about that life. You need to repent, sir. I had all types of situations, and for me, it was just like a lot. I was just really just most of the time trying to focus on just getting rid of the noise and just refocusing, because everything in this world is sent to destroy you and to distract you from where God is leading you to and your purpose. And like your purpose partner is also part of your purpose, because after you have found yourself and you have gotten to learn about yourself and you have gotten to know yourself, then your purpose partner is supposed to come in and join you on that purpose and on that path and on that mission, so that both of you together can fulfill the purpose that God has for you, for your family, and for the world. So your marriage is actually meant to be a purpose marriage or purposeful marriage for the rest of the world. It's supposed to impact the world in some form or in some way. So if you're in a marriage that is just self-serving and that's just not even impacting the world in the way that you are with each other, or even like the community around you, if your marriage is not being impactful to people, then you really need to like start to question God about like what his purpose for your marriage is all about. And one thing that I told God is that I am not getting married until he leads me into that marriage. That I am not gonna do. So I told God that if you don't lead me by yourself, if you don't show me who this person is by yourself, like this is something I've been praying about since I was like 15, 16 years old, right? So I have told God, I didn't even know what marriage was at the time, but I just know that whatever example of marriage I was seeing was not what I wanted for my life at all. And at a point, I actually didn't want to get married at all, because I'm just like, I'll just have my babies and, call it a day, whatever. I'm not trying to get involved in any type of marriage right now, because I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like the kind of partnerships that I'm seeing. I don't like the kind of disrespect that I'm seeing in marriages these days, I don't like it. And I'm not gonna be a part of it. So I told God, like, if you want me to get married in this life, you will have to lead me into it yourself. And I gave him specifications. I said, you have to show me by myself who this person is. You have to show my parents. You have to show somebody that is completely unfamiliar to me, that I don't even know, so that they can come and meet me to tell me that this is what your marriage is going to be like. And you have to show like my family, like I said, my parents. And this person that's supposed to come and meet me to show me has to be somebody that follows you, that's spiritual. They don't necessarily have to come from church or you know, have to be like your typical pastor or whatever, but I just need to recognize this person when I see it. And every one of those things have happened and then some, you know, because now God just leads people to me, and it's like, some of them are my friends, some of them are not even people I know, and he's just like, this person is yours, you gotta wait, girl, because it's gonna be great, you know. So he always just tries to encourage me, because I need a lot of encouragement in this process, because it's such a long and lengthy process. I've had to learn a lot of patience in this process, you know. So every time I find my faith kind of dwindling a little bit, I always find myself in this mindset that I probably shouldn't be in, but I'm so overwhelmed by all the noise and I don't know how to center myself. And God just finds a way to tell me, like, he will literally give me a dream and be like, this person is coming and this person is yours. So remember, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted, because this person is still on the way. It's okay. Focus. I love you. And I'm still with you. And this is still happening. My word never fails. I've said it and I will do it, you know. And when he says it, he will do it. Stay encouraged. So every time my faith is going down a little bit, God's like, stay encouraged. This person is here. This person is here. So it came from this person is coming. This person is coming to this person's here. This person's here. So it's really, really encouraging, because it means that I'm doing something right. First of all, it means that, okay, like, I'm going in the direction that I'm supposed to be going. But like, I find the devil just keeps sending people into my life and trying to like distract me from this purpose, so I don't actually meet this person, so I don't actually get involved with this person, and so I don't actually marry this person. But I really try to focus. So on my trip to Nigeria, I decided to it's such a funny story, but I was introduced to this setting. I can't really say what it is right now, but I was introduced to this setting, this arena, this location, by an ex of mine. And this ex of mine, we would like go there often and stuff. And you know, at some point I kind of decided that whenever I'm in Nigeria, I'll start going to that location, you know, more often, so I can kind of like get myself right. So at this location, I met this person. I saw this person. It's so funny because I was already like, it was towards the end of my trip, and I was already getting frustrated by the entire process. And like, God has sent me here to meet this person, and I still haven't met this person. Like, I've met this person before, but I haven't seen this person on this trip. So God sent me here for this purpose, and it's not really working out right now. So what do I do? Like, this is so much for me, and I'm here, I'm spending all this money, and I'm just chilling and like trying to find other, you know, opportunities and stuff for my businesses as well, and just meeting people. But it's still like, the main reason why I came here is because of this, and it's not happening. And there was a day I was at a place, accommodation that I was staying at, and you know, obviously the power went off, randomly, like the power usually doesn't go off at that location, but it did. And at that point I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just go back and go to the gym and just see how you know, this day goes. But right before I did that, I know I was in the bathroom at the time and I was just praying to God, like, I'm so frustrated. This is about the 3 to 5 business days again, like I said. Maybe like 3 days after 3 days of my last breakdown. This happened or something. And I was just like, God, like, you've sent me here, you've told me to do all these things, and I've done it. I've traveled all the way here without a proper plan, without a proper like place to stay. I just kept moving around, staying in different places. Like, I didn't have a set location where I was supposed to stay, right? Because I didn't even plan to stay that long, you know, so I just kept jumping around and stuff. But at this time I was just really frustrated with the process. Like, God, like, you told me to come all the way here. You can't bring me here without like a reason. And I trust you and I trusted you. I didn't even know, first of all, how I was gonna pay for all the things I was gonna be, you know, be out there doing, or, you know, how I was gonna pay for everything. But I'm just gonna choose to trust you and pack my bags and leave, you know, because you told me to. You know, so like, I'm just like, why have I been here for this amount of months and I've still not seen this person? I've still not associated myself with this person. I've still not, you know, like, had any kind of conversation with this person. And this whole time, actually right before I left, I was actually led to send more like series of DMs to this person, just talking about my life, my process, and like just trying to stay encouraging. And it, you know, I wasn't supposed to expect a response from this person. So I'm just like, okay, like, this is weird, God, but okay, I'm gonna do it because you said I should do it. But it's still weird because the person is probably gonna see that, you know, it's weird, you know. Like, why is this person sending me DMs consistently, not really saying much? Because I can't, because it's not time to say much yet. But like, why is she sending me so many DMs, you know? And it was more like encouragement and like in my spirituality and in my process and blah, blah, blah. But for me, I'm just like, this is weird. And it's also kind of like really vulnerable. But I've been asked to do it and I just like, you just know in your spirit and your soul that you have to do it. Like, you can't get anywhere until you do what you need to do, even if it doesn't make sense to you logically. So it didn't make sense to me, and it was also a little bit like vulnerable, a lot vulnerable actually. And it was also very different. And it also like, because at the time also I was working on my ego, mind, and just like stripping myself off of ego and just working on myself and healing from all of that stuff. You had to have no ego. No, zero ego. It's like you're constantly messaging somebody and the person is not responding to you, like, at all. And you are there and you know why the person can't respond to you. I know why. I knew why, you know? So it's not like something that I didn't expect. I knew why this person couldn't respond to me. I was shown why this person couldn't respond to me. And also like on a physical, like logical level, I also knew why this person couldn't respond to me. But for me, it's still like, that's a lot. Like, you have to really like, no pride whatsoever, no ego whatsoever. You just have to do what God says you should do. So it really helped me in my process because it really helped me to strip away any sort of ego that I had in this life. Obviously, I'm still working on it because it's a lot to unpack, and it's many years of hurt and pain and whatever that has led to me today. But it's also, like I said, it's not a linear process. It's not a straightforward process. It's always going to be an up and down. And sometimes you go back to where you were and then you come back again and you try to better yourself and whatever. So it's a journey. It's a journey, you know? And so I had to send a series of DMs every time I would get inspired or led to send this person something. Maybe this person is going through some area of their lives that I don't personally know about, but God would just be like, oh, send another DM today or whatever. So at a point, I actually had to like take some time to actually just not do that, because it started to affect me mentally. And I was just like, this is affecting me too much now, because now I'm expecting responses and I'm not getting them, and I know I'm not gonna get them anytime soon, but like it's affecting me. So I had to tell God, like, I can't do this anymore. I need to stop. I need to take some time away. I need to distance myself from the situation, because now I didn't want to hold any sort of resentment towards this person, because now it's gonna be like, it's gonna counter what is supposed to actually happen. I'm not holding any kind of resentment towards this person. I don't want to like put myself in a headspace where I have to do that. And so the moment I started realizing that resentment was coming into the picture, I had to take myself out of it. So I stopped sending messages, and I just chilled. And then when I went to Nigeria, like throughout the time there, I didn't send any message. And then I go to the gym, and of which I said a location before, but it was actually at the gym, and it's one of the gyms that one of my exes introduced me to at the time. So I go to this location, and actually right before then, actually I have to take a step back. So I was just like breaking down, and I was in the bathroom. I was just praying like, God, like, this is too much. You've sent me all the way here. I just can't do this anymore. I'm tired. And I heard God say, if you meet him today, what would you do? And I was like, I don't know, like, I'll talk to him, I guess. But honestly, I really, really, really don't want to talk to him, because you've already led me through this process in the DMs, and I'm just really taking a break from that. Now you're telling me that if I should see him, I should talk to him? Like, seriously? You know? So I was just like, I don't want to have to do this right now. And then God was like, but if you had to, what would you do? If you met him today, what would you do? I'm like, I guess if he doesn't come talk to me, I guess I'll go talk to him. Sure. You know? So God was like, okay, what would you say? And I was like, well, I'll just say hi, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know? Literally. The power went off. I went to the bathroom. I started breaking down again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym, because I can't deal with this right now. I need endorphins and shit, you know, I can't. So I went to the bathroom, and then I started to have a conversation with God. And so I was like, I guess I'll talk to him and just say hi or whatever. But I mean, it would be really, really, really nice if he can just come to me and talk to me, because that would, like, honestly just be so much easier for me, because I've already come all the way here. You know, so why do I have to do that? Like, why do I have to make that step? It's too much. But he's like, but what would you do though? And I'm like, I'll say hi. You know, I'll just start up a conversation or whatever and just show my face. And then, but, you know, I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, good talk, I guess.